approaches and new learning tools. They only have to deal with a teacher recruitment gap. They are also constrained with the traditional teacher educational courses and the lack of investment in teacher support frameworks and of opportunities for continuous professional development. Therefore, rethinking teaching and learning for the future, including the necessary approaches, the tools, the partnerships that would entail, may challenge the status quo of the teaching profession, the employment of the teachers, and also their credentials. However, given the high cost of teacher recruitment and of reforming teacher training and support systems, it is imperative that countries do explore cost-effective approaches and innovative approaches that will generate more immediate impact and help them address these challenges. So during this plenary session, we will discuss insight and perspectives with a distinguished panel that represents a diverse group of stakeholders. And it is with pleasure that I would like to introduce the panel, starting to my left, Honorable Mutimura, Minister of Education of the Republic of Rwanda, Honorable Motshega, Minister of Basic Education, Republic of South Africa. Then we have Mrs. Jedida Mwangi, who is school principal from a girls' high school, Republic House Secondary School in Kenya. Mrs. Tamara Dorsey from Civil Society. She's Senior Director for the Middle East and North Africa of Teach for All. We then have the development partner, Mr. Russell Longmo, from CEO of the European Foundation for Quality Management.
Excuse me.
And our representative for the thematic group, Mr. Adam Saldo from Facebook. Well, he did tell me to introduce him as Mark Zuckerberg, but I thought that would be a bit. The panel will address 3 questions. What innovations linked with emergence of new teaching approaches, tools, learning environments, and partners in the education space can be taken from emerging trends to guide policy and decision making in the education system for the future? How transferable and scalable, importantly, are these in low-resource countries? The second question will look at what management innovations might support teachers' new roles, or what new sources of expertise and talent should be tapped into to support learning in the classroom. And the third question will be, what are the broad implications of teaching innovations and emerging trends for teacher policy design and for the governance of public education systems more generally? My first question will go to the Honorable Minister from Rwanda. Honorable Minister, as a high-level education decision maker, you must certainly be regularly engaged in policy debates on what the future of teaching might look at in your country and also globally. So what kind of transformation do you see already happening in the education force, and what transformation do you foresee for the training of teachers in the future to ensure their preparedness to meet learners' needs in the classroom?
Thank you, moderator. Thank you very much to give us an opportunity to participate in this important forum. I would say that the most important element is the understanding of what innovation is. Because traditionally people think about innovation as ICT-based learning, but it is much broader than that. I believe innovation is the teaching and learning that is going to create value and have impact and results to create a change so that the learning and teaching really becomes impactful, not only at a individual level, at a school level, at a community level, but also at a national level. And therefore, you need to have a vision as a country. And this vision must be enshrined in policies at a national level. In our plan, we have made a strong decision to build a knowledge-based economy, which will happen over time. And therefore, innovation and teacher professionalization is very critical to learning and impacting the vision that the national plan has. And so, currently, I will talk about a few things related to policy implications, but also implementation at a community level, meaning school level, or district level, but also individual level in terms of innovation. What we expect the teachers to do, what the teachers are doing, but what vision we have in the future because of what we are faced with in terms of global, national, and even regional trends. And so traditionally, certainly, most of our institutions in Rwanda and in African countries have been teaching using a traditional way of teaching, cracking numbers. But now, the most important trend is that you have to know that a student or a learner is the center of learning and give an opportunity to a learner. And therefore, at the policy level, we have started to implement since 2015 competence-based curriculum that assumes and provides an opportunity for kids to learn outside the school, meaning that you need to have an enablers. You need to have new pedagogical tools, not only ICT-based tools, but also teacher capacity and teacher career advancement opportunities, so that after you teach pupils in class, you give them an opportunity to learn outside the class. And therefore, teacher-centered learning really is an important innovation. At the school level, at the national level, that is implemented. We are very fortunate that we have many development partners that are supporting us into Rwanda into implementing this. But also, the other element is that you have to build a critical mass of teachers. For instance, you have 60,000 teachers in basic level education, and therefore you have to teach them, you have to give them the skills, you have to give them an opportunity and the vision to know that their learning will impact national learning now and in the future. So we have what we call a plan to train our teachers. And so you teach them in smaller groups, what we call, school-based mentors. That is the cream of teachers. Again, you have several development partners that are helping us with that, so that they are able to have new innovative pedagogical skills to have the learning. We have also made a strong policy on ICT policy, so that implementation, both in terms of infrastructure, both in terms of learning, becomes impactful. And so that in the future, you are able even to teach, but also assess your students based on computers. I know many people will make a strong argument that computers and ICT-based teaching is not the only way, but in the vision for many of our countries, it is an important vision, because it gives an opportunity to pupils and learners to learn outside the class, but also you are giving them much more learning opportunities than you can offer within the class. And certainly, use of computer, if you well train your teachers, is very important. So ICT policy is very important. Put in place, policy and implemented it at the school level. We have what we call one laptop per child in the schools of about 2,900 primary schools. We are 68%. We have smart classrooms with at least 100 laptops in secondary schools. We are 52%. We are not yet there. But these are some of the opportunities that we give to our children. We are also fortunate that most of the development partners and the government are working together because they have developed tools, for instance, to expose teachers to what we call CPD, continuous professional development in specific areas of subjects. Now, since last year, their guidelines, we have emphasized the fact that every teacher must gain specific credits every year in order to remain in the teaching profession and in order to have a certificate every year. We are not in here, but that's the policy, and that's the also that teacher professionalization continues to evolve. But of course, we have had also a policy on teacher career pathways to give teachers grades. And these grades, like a teacher, junior teacher, principal teacher, senior principal, and master teacher are opportunities for them to grow their profession. The other policy in our setting is incentives. Incentives to teachers is very important. We have put a policy to give them incentives, not only increase their salaries, like this year on 28th January, salary increment 10%, but we gave them the scholarships that they are not going to pay if they are teachers. Usually at the policy level, we prioritize STEM and we give scholarship to STEM trainees, but they pay back the scholarship after 4 years or 3 years. For teachers, they are going to study degree, masters, and higher level. They are not going to pay for the scholarship. That's a big incentive. Because when you are trained to a degree and masters, you are gain another 10% increase in your salary. And that's very, very, very important incentive. We have also put in place every year, feel free to stop me. We have also put in place every year incentives for teachers, but also incentives for several areas. So we have what we call best innovators, best practices, and best entrepreneurs in schools. We have seen teachers coming up with good innovation in their teaching. And the only way to look at that is to see the results. How is this innovation in teaching having an impact in students? So we have had some schools, some girls' schools at secondary school level, coming up with some apps, for instance, identifying the problems in the community, problem related to repetition and dropout. One of the girls in Maranyundo School, for instance, created an app to track the dropout and repetition rates in school. And that's already an innovation we are seeing because of the teaching. Another girl, I think, has come up with some 3D printing project, 3D printing. That cannot be underestimated because there is a knowledge behind. You have to do design and several things. And so these are some of the impact of the innovation we are seeing. Of course, we give them incentives, we give them some back, give them some computers, internet opportunities. Now I think some of these girls are coming to Abu Dhabi in February for a training exposure for 3 weeks so that they learn more about these opportunities. The other important element is to know that teachers at the basic level, students at the basic level, because the impact of good teaching and innovation in teaching is going to be seen at the outcome by what the pupils are doing. So we have created a vibrance between basic level education and tertiary level education, so that what is being taught in tertiary level education gives an opportunity to students and teachers at lower level education. We have projects, for instance, at the University of Rwanda supported by the World Bank in terms of centers of excellence, teaching and learning mathematics. But these ones now, these projects are working with one of the partners, I think, AIMS, in the secondary school, so that kids, pupils start getting this exposure of mathematics so that it's not an obstacle. Science students are an obstacle. Kids at the lower level should understand it and internalize it. Secondly, we need to start thinking about providing an opportunity to kids to learn outside school environment. And in line with this, we have seen some development partners giving an opportunity to pupils and students to go outside, for instance, coffee plantation and industry, maintain gas extraction, to see what's happening within industry, working with the private sector so that the mathematics you learn now, the chemistry you learn now, you have to learn at another end. We have an impact in your life. And what you learn now will help you build the economy in a specific way so that you are stimulated how to learn. And so these are some of the activities that we have been doing. Definitely there are many policy changes that we are making. One of the most important policies we are excited about is the fact that education and teaching must be looked at in a holistic approach, and everybody must be able to contribute towards education. So teacher recruitment has been done by the district. We are putting the policy teacher management, recruitment, involvement, monitoring, and sanctions to be done by different stakeholders, education, public service, and local government. And that's very important for us.
Thank you, Minister, for this very rich answer to my question. You've talked about policies and implementation from the grassroots to in the classes and even beyond, looking at the learning environment using ICTs and other modes of teaching and learning. And also you touched upon how you could work in partnerships, how you're working in partnerships to have impact on the learners and the teachers. I'm turning to you, Honorable Minister from South Africa, with the same question on the preparation of teachers for the future. Could you add your views to that of the Minister and share with us any perspectives or exemplary approaches that are emerging in your country and in the region?
No, thank you very much, facilitator. Yes, indeed, most of, I think, of the ideas that the Minister has raised will fully align ourselves with. One of, I think, the biggest innovation that we've looked at, but they can, as a department, have no access, but only services and access to see they have also is to work with the very teachers themselves. We have very strong, they amongst themselves, other union would focus on foundation, the other union would focus on fund them for programs that we've agreed on and get the methodologies to also get teachers themselves to form what we call plans, and we've helped them to create a platform where they can collaborate amongst themselves as teachers of a revolution summit in the country, where also we really have to anticipate and therefore how we go about it and cost what required to do. So we've gone back to the drawing board to really say what is implementable and what is guys schools that are hard to reach, because the principle is just making sure that we're very high children with disabilities, because we also have not been able to provide adequate for children to move into areas which are hard to develop. But the focus really has been around the cities. They don't take much of your time. In 1994, when we took over government, there was this very later we thought it was an extremely progressive education, outcomes-based education, pronounced on outcomes-based education. We had not trained our teachers adequately. We had not been exposed to it. So we're much more careful now to say from the what is it that we need by outcomes, what resources are required for outcome, what preparations teachers need for the outcomes-based education, but we have accepted that we have to still go back.
That has an enrollment. We follow 844 system of education, that is 8 years in primary school, it is the first 4 is 4 years in high school. So we have the innovations level. We have come up with one rating school climate for the students, a very comfortable environment, and in this we have put it at 5 levels. That is the how do we instill the learning, and how do we impart the skills and the knowledge to the students. Then the policies, some of them are internal and others are external, and also programs. Then we also have a way of ensuring that the girls' school, we have established, we give the girls an opportunity. It's a very elaborate program in talent that we are a Espnet school, because we use Espnet as an umbrella to insert 1 or 2 sustainable goals, and they take that direction and the sustainable goals, because at the end of the day, it is the students that we have in technology innovation, which we call SPAT. SPAT stands for On Learner Centered. It's the teacher. Students are drawn from all over the country, the school. This is because you'll find that the students will have we have been talking about access, we have been talking about it comes from a background that maybe there are issues, there are problems, and this is very common in our country. This child is able to be adopted in that family during the school time, and then during the holidays they go back to their families. Keys or have other trainings like on STEM that are organized on termly basis, and these trainings are organized if a teacher is experienced for 1 year to 5 years, 6 years to 10 years, so that they will.
What we have seen is that the magic really happens after those 2 years, when these fellows are done, in essence, with their fellowship. 70% of our alumni end up staying. Our fresh grad who was once going to go into med school, we're seeing, and a lot of our alumni go on into ministries and the government sector influencing policy. So you're bringing this new talent, experience, and people informed by these inequities, these experiences in these communities, and bringing that to policy and directly at heart. And then you've also got those that start their own social mentor. And we've often seen alumni go on and teach for organizations in Bulgaria, alumni who go on and start these social enterprises as well further and keep this approach alive in their own countries. So in essence, we're seeing this new way of attracting stakeholders and helping them co-design, be a part of all of this journey, is really leading to increased innovation in the system, actually in the teaching profession, of the types of also more durable impact that's lasting. So that's what I wanted to share, mainly for.
Thank you, thank you also for emphasizing that the need to have local leadership on the ground has worked on new education quality models, and how can these models help education system support teachers and learners?
Thank you. Just a couple of words on us at EFQM, 40 countries, and we created private sector, public, about 50,000 organisations around the world. It's been translated to talk with each other, potentially to share. Over the last, we call our excellence model, our performance improvement model. And so we started with an organisational survey, a lot of experts from UNESCO. What we're trying to do is prepare a framework where organisations can improve. Interestingly, a lot of what the panelists have said today, resistance organisations around the world are no different from those, and I'll put the relevance to the education world. The first thing was that, and it's interesting having Facebook next to me, is the importance of culture within an organised engagement. It's about culture, nurturing a culture that really serves a purpose. And the world is changing very fast, and we can't necessarily just rely on very strong skills. We have to develop creativity, agility, and these types of skills both in organisations and into people and systems. And I don't think education resources, lack of investment, that does not help. However, in that environment of change and disruption, they still have to thrive with diverse skills. I think I talked a little bit about this as the ability of establishments to connect different types of stakeholders, build different types of organisations, will enhance their diverse background for teachers. It's no different in business, diversity of managers, diversity of team members, people from around the world, cognitive diversity as well as gender and geographic diversity is so important. And that was a real key element of our EFQM has bring, not just to organisations. I think that was one of the underlying keys in our study. So we spent 30 years helping organisations learn together and improve. And our model has gone out this year for all organisations in the last 4 weeks. It was released in Dubai. Our infrastructure around this, we're just here to help share best practice in organisations, as I say, whether they're making cars, whether they're making widgets, whether they're marketing, whether they're developing technology, or developing citizens of the future.
Thank you, Russell. So we know the importance of culture, agility, creativity, leadership skills, building bridges and partnerships, and using technology for the task force thematic group to share the outcomes of their deliberations with us.
Thank you. First, it's a distinct pleasure for my colleague Monica Arez and myself to represent Patience Learning Education Teacher Task Force Group. Our number one, we need a shared platform for international education community to share best practices, provide networking opportunities, and training. But this platform has to respect local cultural context and provide benchmarks, partnerships, and approaches to link education to businesses for effective technical support for teachers in learning. Now, I think what is most important about the findings from this teacher task force for the past few years, Facebook is a company whose culture is built on building something and iterating. That means we don't always have the perfect solution right away, but we will iterate and iterate until we get there. And begin building and iterating on the best practices shared by my colleagues on this panel. And so we had a couple examples in the group that I can share, just a few. One of them was Professor Hamdi Abdelaziz of Smart University here in Dubai, who has trained 78 on the basics of teacher education and brought them together for a blended learning stay within that university. Our work at Facebook, one of the things that we can illustrate is how we work with nations very similar to the situations in South Africa and Rwanda mentioned today, where we have ministry, which is making teachers feel supported in a timely fashion. And so one example that we shared is in Edo, Nigeria. Over 2,000 of them came together using Facebook as and they're learning how to train or how to teach their students in a digital environment just using their mobile devices. And so again, what I would like to leave with is a sense of urgency that regardless of what we choose to communicate and collaborate, that communication and collaboration and sharing start now. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. We now have about 10-15 minutes to take some questions. I'll take 3 questions. Please, very briefly, give your name, affiliation, and keep your questions short and indicate. So, yes, go ahead.
I'd like to thank the panelists for a very insightful presentation. I have a question. My question is to any of you, anyone can speak on that. We see that the world is moving very fast. The key is to come up with the new innovations, especially in ICT, such as now we talk about artificial intelligence, blockchain, coding, you name it. So how can we make our teachers go? And again, the other question is it really necessary that teachers go for the classroom? Thank you.
Yes, the lady.
Good morning, Assalamualaikum. My name is Selhira from Ministry of Professional, Master ICT, get adequate training and be able to teach in class. I want to ask, how about the quality control to ensure that the implementation is in accordance with
Muhammad Fahir Osman from University. I'm also representing the International Council for Education for Teaching. I think, thanks to doctors. So the question is for Excellency Professor. How do you ensure the sustainability of these innovations? The sustainability of these innovations, how do you ensure that will last for a longer time? Thank you.
Thank you. So the panel will answer these first questions. I think the first one was to you regarding agility.
Of evidence to suggest that quality came from the top. If your CEO, your head teacher, your government minister was driving quality down, then that was seen as a very positive aspect, and it is. I think we now know that quality implementation, the rigor of implementation only comes from, I guess, leadership at every level. So it must, if people are not empowered and don't have the culture to change things, adapt things, be more agile, to enable that quality to take effect. And I think that's where quality control really comes in, empowering people at every level to actually make the adjustments needed to take ownership of that quality and understand who their stakeholders are and who they're actually building quality for, rather than just for the sake of it.
Thank you.